Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern Ned Reynolds in the studio Tuesday morning. So even after they had a big trade weekend, the Royals still made a deal yesterday, didn't they?
Both the Royals and the Cardinals were quite actively involved yesterday as well, right before the trade deadline, which was 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The Royals sending Kris Bubic to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And this is a very interesting deal because Bubic probably is not going to play this year. He's been on the 60-day disabled list with an injury. And the Royals were able to get Carlos Duran, a right-handed pitcher, from the Dodgers. Now, the Royals did make another trade a little bit later on. They got Nolan Hoffman. He's a right-handed pitcher. Got him from the Reds for from the Phillies for Manuel Colon. So they did make that deal. But Bubic is the big one. And I think the Dodgers probably got him because they see the future, and he's pretty doggone good pitcher. Bubic had great years with the Kansas City Royals and indeed was very effective prior to his injury, and the Dodgers, I think, are looking at him for the future somewhere along the line. Now, the Cardinals deals were quite interesting because finally they had talked about this deal for quite some time, but Dustin May and indeed, later on, Lars Nootbaar all got traded along with JoJo Romero. Now, May and Romero, this is interesting, Mike, because they're both traded within the division, and that just does not happen. They're going to the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, Dustin May will help. He'll be a spot starter. He is a free agent at the end of the year, and JoJo Romero has been out since the All-Star break because of appendicitis, but he'll be back after that. Lars Nootbaar was sent to the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he's a left-handed batting fit into their lineup. And the Cardinals get Daniel Egan and Sandro Santana, both of whom are pitchers, and both have been pitching with the Amarillo Sod Poodles. So they'll just change uniforms and come over here and play for the Springfield Cardinals. The Cardinals also picked up Caleb Ferguson. He's a relief pitcher. Got him from the Cincinnati Reds in a separate deal. So it was very big. There were other big names who went around. Adley Reitzman, one of the top catchers in baseball, if not the top catcher, goes to the Boston Red Sox. That really helps them out. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that helps out these teams. No more deals. They're all done now until next year, if there is a next year.
Well, at least till the offseason. But yeah, they got a long way to go for that. But we'll see. We'll see here in about a month and a half, 2 months when we start this pennant race. All right. It's pretty incredible, I think, even though she wasn't able to take the hardware home, what Serena did after taking so much time off, coming back, competing on the pro level that she was. She ain't done yet, though, is she?
Well, no, she's not, and she and her sister have already signed up for the Cincinnati Open for doubles at the Cincinnati Open. That's coming up here this week, or actually next week, and it's a very big pre-United States Open tournament. Now, Serena has said she wants to play in the U.S. Open, and of course they will give her admission, a wild card admission, because she is Serena Williams. She is one of the all-time great tennis players, but she is 45, did lose at Wimbledon in the first round of singles, and the doubles was kind of skewed in a way because her original partner had a knee injury. Anyway, seeing how she does in doubles at the Cincinnati Open will probably be the barometer as to whether or not she's going to play in New York City at the U.S. Open coming up at the end of August and into early September, and that is a grind.
Big-time grind. I know we just finished up with the World Cup, but that wheel keeps turning. Is the Team USA going to find a new coach for the next World Cup?
They won't need to, because the coach who they have had has decided he wants to stay with the USA team and coach them right through the World Cup next time, which is 2030, and that'll be in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. Anyway, this is Mauricio Pochettino, and he has agreed to a 4-year contract. This is interesting because Pochettino does not live in this country. He lives over in Europe and does a lot of coaching with European soccer and so forth. But he has hinted, he hadn't said he's definitely going to, but he has hinted that he's going to move to the United States so he can be of greater help to the USA men's team. I thought they played fairly well. They got to the Belgium game and got knocked out of it, and that was quite disappointing to everybody, including them. But the fact of the matter remains, it is showing some progress.
It is moving in the right direction, you're right, and yes, it was disappointing. If they can work together and find a little bit more cohesion, maybe we'll have a better stance in 4 years. Cardinals in New York City to face off with the Yankees last night and just lit it up.
They did late in the game, and it's kind of interesting the way this contest went. I watched the first part of it, and the Cardinals got off to a 6-0 lead over New York, and they're coasting along, and here come the Yankees. Came roaring back, tied the game, and then took the lead in the last of the 7th inning, a 7-6 lead. Well, the Cardinals are schizoid. They come on, they can play great at times, and they did in the top of the 8th inning. Came right back and scored 7 runs, 3 home runs. The big one was a 3-run homer by Nathan Church that put the Cardinals ahead. But then the Redbirds hit 2 more after that, accounted for 7 runs in the 8th inning, and beat the New York Yankees 13-7. This Cardinals team is strange, very strange. They're young. They're not playing. They're playing with house money is what they're doing. They think they have a chance still at the wild card. They're 4 games out of a wild card berth, and they have 2 teams in front of them. Those teams have to lose first. But the fact is the Cardinals think they can get there, and yet they traded away a guy, Dustin May, who would have been a free agent, who they would not have signed, but they traded him to the Brewers. Now, come on, people. Anyway, we'll find out a little bit more about the background in that deal. Cardinals win at 13-7, play the Yankees again tonight.
Hopefully that's not a sign that won't come back to bite them in the near future. Kansas City Chiefs training camp. The boys are in pads now. Anything new of note out of St. Joe?
Yesterday was the first day in pads. And get this, it's the first day in pads, Mike, for most of those Chiefs. First time, I should say, since the final game last season. They hadn't donned the pads since then. Anyway, out they came. There were a couple of early departures. Xavier Worthy and Cyrus Allen, both of whom are wide receivers, had to leave, but these are not serious injuries. They're out of there on precautionary measure, probably be back today or tomorrow. But there is one guy who is out for the rest of the year, Ethan Downs out of Oklahoma. He's a second-year defensive end, and he tore his ACL, so he is gone for the year. But, hey, it's football. Those things do happen.
They definitely do, and you don't want them to happen before the season starts, however.
No.
So one of the most famed college football rivalries is going to be renewed this season, and I love this, Ned.
This is extremely interesting. Now, the renewal is not going to start until 2030 because the schedules have already been made through then. This will be the first year without Notre Dame playing Southern Cal. Those teams have played one of the great rivalries in football since the early 1920s. That's how often it's been, the Trojans and the Irish. They've always gotten together, and traditionally the game was either at mid-season or late in the season. Late in the season out in Los Angeles. They play at the Coliseum, and they draw 85 and 90,000 people to watch that one. And then mid-season in South Bend, Indiana, where it can get cold, but it's not quite as bad as it is late in the year. Anyway, that's not going to be the case now. When they renew in 2030, the games will be the first games of the year. So you had to make some concessions somewhere, but regardless, the Irish and the Southern Cal Trojans will be back on the grid starting in 2030, hopefully for the time of the foreseeable future.
Ned, do not forget to get out and vote today. Have a good one, and I will see you mañana.